What's something you'd find in a lower-class home that rich people wouldn't understand? No towel is ever the same. Just random odd towels and face cloths. Bonus points for beach towels with Disney characters on them. Super faded and from the 90s. And those are the best towels because they dry way better than the newer ones. Yeah, I hate new towels. Why is this the case? Everywhere I go with fancy towels I keep thinking that they suck so much. There's supposed to be a rougher side that absorbs well and a softer side that doesn't absorb as well. New fancy towels are soft on all sides and don't absorb as well. Those towels from the 90s have been washed a million times, so most of the soft stuff has worn away. And you don't question the stains, you know it's clean because you washed it after you cleaned up vomit and beer with it yesterday. There was a scene from Family Guy where Carter Pewterschmidt, Lois' rich dad, visits their house. When he walks in, he says, "Oh, I forgot you were poor," and so your front door opens directly into your living room. I felt that. The front door opened into my childhood bedroom that I shared with my two brothers. We used the back door exclusively. Yeah, a common room that also serves as a bedroom. I think most of my kids' friends don't even understand that some siblings have to share rooms. And here I was too embarrassed to tell people I shared a bed with my sister. Haha, great line. As a kid, grabbing our clothes in the morning and dressing in front of the wood stove because it was the only warm spot in the house. In the summer, fans everywhere and all the windows open. Several almost worn-out pairs of cheap shoes. Ah yes, the work shoes, so you don't mess up your nice shoes, until they become the work shoes. And so the cycle goes. Exactly, I do the whole cycle, wear out for special occasions. Wear to work. Where to go to the store. Where in the garden. Diluted dishwashing soap that doubles as hand washing soap. Growing up poor, I've actually used Dawn dish soap as laundry detergent and Tide laundry detergent as dish soap. Use whatever you have on hand. I use Dawn for spot treatment. Works great on any oil/grease stains. When it's really hot in the south, it can be hard to sleep. I keep a Mr. Water bottle by the bed and mist the sheet before I go to sleep and periodically cool off through the night. When my girlfriend came with me to visit my parents with me last summer, she was confused. On a similar note, putting the stopper in the sink and soaking each foot in cold water for a few minutes till you start to feel cool enough to sleep again. Yeah. I may have mentioned that offhand as a solution when a friend at college mentioned the dorms being too warm and was pretty much met with concerned looks and told that's not normal. I'm a postmenopausal woman. I'll be putting a mister next to my bedside fan tonight. Thank you for the genius idea. Man. This thread really brought home the fact that I am lower class. Oh well. I will continue to be thankful for everything I have. Sips cheap beer from novelty Pizza Hut glassware. Look at Mr. Fancy Pants drinking beer from a glass. My bedroom is the living room of our trailer. I tied a rope from one wall to another and draped a blanket over it so I have somewhat of a wall. The bathroom at my house growing up never had a door, just a curtain. It really sucked because it was between the bedrooms, and I had the curtain side. No privacy in the bathroom or in my room. We bought a house a few years ago, and we have a curtain for a door on our bathroom. I had just saved up the money to get a door put in when COVID hit. But we're so fancy, we have 2 bathrooms, and the other one has a door. Edited to add, the bathroom door is not the expensive issue. It's an archway, and it needs to be reframed to a rectangle. I only have found one carpenter who will tackle the plaster walls to reframe it, and he isn't working interior jobs due to COVID. The archway is smaller than a door would be. Edited again to add, my house was formerly a duplex, and the current bathroom was formerly a kitchen. Growing up, our bathroom was added when we moved in, and the only running water was a hand pump in the kitchen. Every house in my neighborhood was built before indoor bathrooms was a thing. I think Western poor houses would tend to be more cluttered. You can't rebuy things easily, so you end up keeping around doubles of things you already have, or extra things you aren't using but might need some time, because you don't know if you'd be able to afford it in the future. My dad wouldn't let his partner get rid of any of the double kitchenware they had after moving in together in case they broke up and he had to buy it again. So now they have 3 bread knives, etc. Edit. Wow, thanks for the award. I guess this is the case for a lot of people. Also, I got a lot of comments saying not just poor people do that. No, of course not, but the mentality behind keeping things so that you don't have to buy them in the future definitely comes from not having much money. Versus people who actually have a hoarding problem or can just buy tons of stuff because they can afford it. That's true, but I also know folks with money who have junk all over the place. It comes from having enough room that you can just dump your Christmas junk in a room and close the door till next year. Or your kids get so many toys that they never open them all. As a former child, I do not believe there is a kid out there that gave up and did not open all of them, no matter the pile. I knew a guy whose rich parents bought 2 of everything, one for their kids to play with, and one to store for the future value and or future grandkids. This was, mind you, at the start of the Beanie Baby craze. Because of the investment mindset, very few of the toys they chose actually interested him, or his eventual kids, leaving many of the pairs in mint condition. So the size of the pile mattered not, but the contents matter a lot. The drawer where you put the bills you have to pay but don't need to pay immediately to live. The drawer is only emptied after it won't close anymore because 16 duplicates have been received and said bill is no closer to getting paid. I feel personally attacked by this statement. Glassware that is actually novelty fast food cups and mugs stolen from work. And all my fancy glassware are from the liquor gift sets lol. Oh yeah, that too. You mean jelly jars with cartoon characters? Those were my favorite glasses as a kid. We had Tom and Jerry ones. In college, we had exclusively stolen barware to drink out of. I'm a 30-year-old homeowner and all we have is stolen pint glasses from bars, person shrugging, olive skin, female sign. I'm drinking from a plastic Smoky Moe's barbecue cup as I write. I felt like a total butthole once. I was visiting someone for coffee, and something spilled, so I was helping wipe it up. A single AA battery rolled toward me on the counter, and I asked if it needed to be someplace, and was told it went in a drawer. I opened the drawer, and there were several batteries, but none in packages. I said, "Damn, don't you hate it when you accidentally destroy the packaging getting a couple of batteries out, and then have to find a place to put them all?" It turned out they didn't leave batteries in small devices. They just put them in to use the item, then took them back out and saved them to use in something else when needed. Wow, I've never heard of that before. Smart if you've dealt with corrosion from a leaky old battery. Sad if it's for the reasons it sounds like. It was for the latter. As a person who usually orders 24 or more AA batteries at a time, a thing I learned growing up, it was kind of sad. But as that same person, it was a really good thing for me to see. It's remarkably easy to get hung up on something you don't have, and forget how much you actually do have. It's remarkably easy to get hung up on something you don't have, and forget how much you actually do have. This is absolutely true. I grew up poor in the woods of West Virginia, and there were a lot of things we didn't have. Struggled just to have enough food on the table. But visiting other poor people in the area, I realized we were very fortunate for one thing. We had well water which provided us with indoor plumbing. Something I'd always taken for granted until I saw pots and pans and buckets strewn across someone's yard to collect enough rainwater for cooking and cleaning. Or until I had to use an outhouse. Indoor plumbing is that effing miracle and a gift that we're all extremely fortunate to have. I've tried to take that lesson with me in life and take time to appreciate what I have. Even when I ended up homeless for a while, I take time to appreciate things like nice weather or the birds singing. There's a quote I like that goes, "Happiness isn't about getting what you want. It's about wanting what you have." A lot of unfinished renovations. My life growing up. We had random test paint spots on so many walls. We tore down the wallpaper in the bathroom but then never did anything after. We were supposedly going to redo the floors in the bedroom, so I was allowed to draw all over my room in middle school, and we never did those, and it looked so bad and was so embarrassing. My home growing up had wood framing in the basement that my parents put up as part of the start of a basement finishing project in the 1980s. That framing is still there today, and it has never seen a single drywall nail. I grew up middle class too. It boils down to priorities, I guess. Totally. Start the project when you have the money, then life happens and project stays unfinished. I understand now and sometimes feel bad that I never understood why we didn't have things or had all these unfinished projects when all my friends were wealthy and their houses were immaculate. But they definitely did the best they could, and we truly were never left wanting. I feel this one to my core. Crap. Turns out I'm lower class too. I had a relative who grew up poor, but eventually got a decent paying job, and his big reward to himself was to build his own house. Which he spent years on. 3 levels, waterfront on a secluded bay, winding staircase. As soon as he finished it, he sold it and moved. SMH. Painful ending. Nope. He lost interest. A lot of people, regardless of economic stature, do this. They restore a car, it finally finished, so they sell it and buy another project, because they enjoy the journey more than the destination. Same goes with houses. Build and build for years, it's their focus. Project completes, you decompress a bit, and start planning the next one. The steps in between, start and finish, meant more than the end product. Like the roof. The foundation. Walls to subdivide rooms. Doors cut in drywall. Etc. I joked with my dad about those awful 1970s orange-painted gutters on my childhood home. Turns out that was undercoat. Never got it done. Yogurt, other grocery containers used as Tupperware. A bunch of basins for hand-washing clothes in the bathtub. Cool Whip bowls as Tupperware. Cool Whip in general. Feel like rich people would have real whipped cream and not whipped veggie oil. I call that recycling. Those containers are pretty good. I clicked on this thread to say bag of bags, but I feel like this pretty much covers that. Half of our Tupperware are salsa containers. Reusing single-use plastic should be considered a service to the planet. You're a hero. There's a trick to it, phrase to indicate something is messed up but not enough to fix it. See also, you got to jiggle the handle. I'm the workplace trick guy, and my workplace has so many tricks. Need to turn the light on? Oh, the switch is in the other room and you need to jiggle the button. The old Android pad that plays music? Oh, you got to bend the charger cord this way and let her have a second to catch up. This door needs locking? Lift it up as you turn the lock. That door needs unlocking? You got to tap it 3 times, do a spin and answer a riddle. It sucks when your doors end up developing a sphinx in the handle, that's for sure. Sometimes you can have sleep for dinner. Can totally feel this to my core. My husband, who had no bad intentions, once told me he grew up poor. This is the kid whose parents owned a business, they lived in their own bought house, and he went to a private school. Told him about all the times I had sleep for dinner, he has never mentioned growing up poor again. Why the F did he think he was poor? I knew a guy like that. He grew up poor on one of the wealthiest islands in western Washington, meaning his parents' house was only worth $700,000 back in the 90s, not the $1.5 million plus houses the other kids lived in. His father spent his entire career at Boeing as an aeronautical engineer. That was my husband too. He believed he was poor due to being the poorest of his childhood friends. I genuinely believed I was poor when I was a child. I was the only person I knew whose family only had one vacation home. I wholeheartedly believed this qualified as poverty. I relate to this, but in the opposite direction. I never realized I was poor until I went to college at 17 and found out people went on vacations to places other than their relative's house, didn't work part-time jobs through school, and had haircuts performed by people other than their parents. All the kids I hung out with in childhood/high school were in the same financial situation as my family, so I literally had no idea this whole other world existed. This made me sad. Back when I was a kid, the needle nose pliers we changed the channel on the TV with. One kid would change the channel while the other, usually me, went outside whatever the weather to turn the antenna until the channel came in. Then my dad would decide to go back to the other show and we'd repeat the process. Classy people use vice grips. That way you don't have to find the pliers. Yes, about the antenna. We had a TV that had individual tuners for each station. It was really cool. It was a 10 inches, but it meant you didn't have to climb on the roof. It had color too. I miss that TV. We bought it from LaBelle's back in the early 80s. The individual tuners was pretty cool. It didn't do proper UHF, but we didn't have much UHF in our area anyway. We could swing channel 15 using the manual tuner on channel 12, but it was hard. We had to change the antenna so that it could get UHF, then use the tuner to monkey with it. We had 2, 5, 6, 11, 13, and 15, sketchy. Manual tuners are cool for analog. Obviously depends on the person, but clutter. Rich people often have more space and more options for organizing their things out of sight. Poor people have fewer places to put things and often a harder time letting go of stuff, because what if they need it later and can't afford a new one? My last apartment had a storage space that was a weird indentation that was like 1 foot deep. Too shallow to actually store anything in, but we had nowhere else to put some of our stuff. Some people will be like, just get rid of the stuff you don't need? Which is hard for poor people, but also I think most people forget that winter exists. Where the F do you expect me to leave my Christmas decorations and heavy winter coat during the summer? I feel thus. I was super poor at one point in my life. I'm doing better now. I had to save everything, kind of broken step stool, saving it because it will still work if you lean to the right. Someone giving away a dresser, take it. You need storage space, got given a new table, keep the old one, you might need it. Kid outgrows clothes, and there is another one, save it all. If you're working 2 or 3 jobs to make ends meet, cleaning up clutter takes time and energy that's not always there. A space heater. Apparently some people have a thermostat that just makes their whole house warm. Spacer heaters are useful for if not everybody in the household likes the same temperature. Like my mom is always cold, I'm always hot, so she has a space heater in her room but I don't. We have central heat/air now. No longer poor, but not rich either, but I like the temp at 68 F, wife likes it at 72 F. We compromise and leave it at 70 F so that nobody's happy. Edit. Thanks for the silver, kind stranger. Fun fact, since space heaters use electrical resistance to create heat, they are essentially 100% efficient. 100% of the electricity used is converted into heat. But heat pump heaters, like the kind that are often used in combination with central AC, can be up to 2x more efficient, produce the same amount of heat for 50% of the electrical energy, at least in most moderate climates. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to be the first to know about Red Rabbit Reader's new videos. If you like our videos, please like them on YouTube and share them with your friends. We welcome your comments below. Press to start another of our videos.